Morning guys, hope you're well, welcome back. So today, back out my very local woodland, just spot of woodland photography. So I've got my 4x5 with me and I'm hoping to shoot some Portra 400 this morning. I've got a couple of sheets loaded up and it'd be great to get those exposed this morning. The conditions are a little bit misty right now, but the forecast is for it to get foggier actually the further we get on into the morning, but obviously time will tell with that one. Forecasts are never always accurate, are they? So I'm pretty much going to concentrate on this one area. Now it's an area that I've passed through before but haven't really spent much time here, but I think it's got quite good potential. There's a few different types of trees here, some sweet chestnuts, a few silver birch dotted around. There's some oak saplings as well, which are still holding on to some of their autumnal foliage, even though we're into the start of February now. So yeah, some holly bushes as well. So yeah, I think there's quite a lot to offer in this area, and it'd be great if I could get a couple of sheets of film exposed this morning. That would be absolutely amazing. So I'm going to work hard, try and find a composition, and hopefully we're going to get some decent conditions. So I found this lovely composition here. There's a silver birch tree leaning against a pine tree. There's several pine trees in the scene actually. And what I've tried to do, I've tried to position myself so I've got a bit of space between all of the different pines. So I think it's quite nice because we've got this one single subject in terms of the silver birch, which is different to the rest of the trees in the area. And there's a heavy dew this morning. It's very atmospheric, and the birch tree there has got a lot of water droplets clinging onto its leaves, which is nice. Now, what I can't do for this scene is eradicate the sky. It's just impossible. Normally when I'm in the woodland I'm trying to position the camera so there's no sky in the shot. But what I'm hoping is that as that mist rolls through, it's going to soften that graduation between the sky and the forest that we've got here. So that's my thoughts. It's been really difficult to focus because it's quite dark. It's one of the biggest challenges I'm finding with large format photography is focusing. Seeing enough light through the camera. That might be to do with the aperture on my lens that I've got there. I think it's only 6.5 or something like that. One of the other challenges I've had is the ground glass steaming up. I've put my head underneath the dark cloth there. It's my breath, because it's so atmospheric and damp. It's been steaming up the back of the ground glass, which is doesn't make focusing any easier, let me tell you. But anyway, I've got everything leveled up, everything dialed in. At f45, I reckon I've got about a 1 second exposure. I think what I'm going to do is take an image now and use both sheets of Portra on this image, because it's quite misty and atmospheric now, and it might get mistier, so, but then again it might not. So I think if I take a shot now and then maybe wait for the conditions to change and then expose another sheet, I'll definitely know I've got the best out of this scene. So I'm going to go ahead, expose this sheet of film now, and hope the conditions change and we get a bit more fog rolling in. So while we were waiting for the conditions to change, I just thought I'd have a little chat about one of the comments I got in the comments section. Now, I always read all of the comments and I like to get back to as many as I can, and that's pretty much 99% to be honest. And I really enjoy engaging with people that have spent, you know, valuable time watching my channel. I really appreciate that. It's something that I never take for granted. And Nikki left a comment a week or so ago, and it really sparked my interest, really got me thinking. And she said, I just don't get this craze in shooting film. You take the image on film, then you scan it, put it onto your computer, edit it in Lightroom, and then it sits on your computer. And she says, sorry, but I'm going to stick to digital. And it really got me thinking, you know, why I decided to start shooting film again. Because for 18 years of my photography life, I shot film. And in 2005, I moved to digital because, you know, that's the way things were going. And it was great, you know, it was easy, convenient. And then when I started shooting professionally, I still offered film for the first couple of years. I'd just shoot a roll of 35mm and then just give it, you know, as a bit of an extra thing when I was shooting a wedding, and the clients seemed to like that. And then as things progressed, time was more precious and the demands became greater, and the time just wasn't there to shoot film. And that's how it was then. It was fast-paced, get the images out as quick as possible, and there just wasn't enough time to shoot film. And it was, you know, it was something that I didn't enjoy that process. I've always enjoyed spending time in my photography, but that's the way things were going. However, with everything that happened last year and is still going on now in the world, I've been afforded a lot more time, something I've not had for years and years and years. Essentially, my professional business ended. You know, YouTube's become my full-time job since last March. I haven't really shot that many client jobs at all, because I mainly shoot weddings and portraits. It's just, you know, my that side of my business is just gone completely. I am going to be busy again once all this kick, you know, does one. But yeah, in the meantime, it's given me time, and that is one of the main reasons I've gone back to shooting film again, because I've got the time to do it. And it does take time. But what I've found is sometimes the longer you spend on an image, the more effort you put into it, the more rewarding it is, the more fun it is as well. And that's really what's got me back into film again, to be honest. The whole process, just enjoying it. Now, when you've taken a shot on film, it's on the negative, even though you've digitised it and put it into Lightroom, put it into your Lightroom catalogue and edited it, maybe done a few tweaks, bit of dodging and burning, you've still got that negative file. That negative is not going to go anywhere. You know, you put that in a folder, it's still a tangible, you know, piece of film, isn't it? It's not going to go anywhere. You can do with that what you wish in the future. It's always going to be there, whether you want to process that in the darkroom at a later date or even make a contact print from it. So the notion that it just gets digitized and whacked on a hard drive and forgotten about is not really the case, I think. So, but I do completely understand where she's coming from as well, because I really do enjoy shooting digital, and I'm going to continue to enjoy shooting digital. But I just want to explore large format and express my photography in different ways as well. And yeah, if that's the only thing that really can come out of these lockdowns, is that I've been afforded a bit more time to be able to do this, then that's the main takeaway that I've got, really, I think, from this whole period. But yeah, really interesting comment, Nikki, and yeah, it was always something I wanted to go back to. So guys, this fog is really rolling in now. I'm so glad I didn't pack away the camera. The scene's changing minute by minute. So I'm really pleased that I didn't pack away. Yeah, I've still set it in exactly the same spot. The question now is, when I make my next exposure, you know, do I make it now when there's some mist, or do I anticipate that it might get mistier and wait a bit longer? Oh, it's such a tough decision, because, you know, if I had my digital camera here now, I'd be just taking shot after shot after shot as the conditions change through the next hour or so. But I've got this one sheet of Portra left, and I want to get the best possible conditions. So I've already got my base exposure, my you know, banker, if you like. Now it's a case of waiting for the best conditions. But You never know if it's going to get better in 10 minutes or worse in 10 minutes, do you? So it's a real conundrum, and I just don't quite know what to do. It looks fantastic at the minute. Oh, maybe we should just take this shot now. That mist is softening the sky. I'm going to wait a couple more minutes. Oh, it's the beauty of film photography, isn't it? Waiting for that right moment to take the shot. So exciting, so exhilarating, you know, just knowing that potentially you could mess it all up. Actually, there's some really nice side light too now. Right, I'm going to take the shot now. I'm sticking with the same settings I had before. I don't think the lights changed that much, but we do have some nice side light. We've got that mist. That graduation between the sky and the foreground is a lot softer. I'm going to stop waffling. I'm going to get this shot now. F45. 1 second. Pull the dark slide. Job's a good one. 2 exposures done. You can guarantee it's going to get better, can't you? Just know it. You just know it's going to get better. Anyway, I've got 2 sheets of Ilford Delta in my bag as well. And I wouldn't mind exposing those. So I'm going to get everything packed up now. Get my gear packed up and have a little wander and see if I can come up with another scene to shoot that Ilford Delta. If not, it's been a fantastic morning anyway. So it's taken me some considerable time to find this composition here, which is okay. It's okay, I think. Essentially what we've got is a whole bunch of pines. Beyond that there's some spruce, and then a bit further on there's some more pines, and it's given us a bit of a layered backdrop. We've also got these died off ferns here in the foreground. Now we're quite lucky at the minute because there's some nice side light coming across, and that's really accentuating the texture on the pines. And in the centre of the frame we've got one pine that's got a curvy trunk to it, which is slightly different to the rest of them, so that's why I've put that right in the middle of the frame. Again, we're vertical on the 4x5. It's a fairly simple composition. I think it works fairly well in black and white from what I'm pre-visualising it in my mind. Yeah, I think it's an okay image. I'm not too bothered if it's not great. I just really need to go through the process of setting the camera up and repetition, taking the images, and yeah, making some exposures really. Now, I have taken one sheet of Ilford Delta 100 already, and just as I fired the shutter I realised I've made my first big mistake with shooting on my large format camera, and that was that when I was metering my Portra 400 earlier, I've obviously got my settings set ISO 400, and then I've come metered for this scene, forgetting that this is Ilford Delta 100, so I've metered it at ISO 400. So I'm a couple of stops underexposed with the settings that I've got dialed in here. So the first sheet is probably going to be underexposed, meaning I'm probably going to lose shadow detail in these tree trunks, which it would be nice to get a little bit of that detail in there. So that's a bit of a shame, but fortunately I've got 2 sheets in the film holder, and which means at least I recognise my mistake before I expose the second sheet, which is a good thing, which means I can now adjust my settings by 2 stops. So instead of 1/4 second, I'm now going to be at 1 second. So at least I figured it out before I expose the second sheet. But it's all part of the learning process, isn't it? I'm not going to beat myself up about that. I'm going to take this shot now while we've got this lovely side light, and hopefully it's an okay image. Cock my shutter. So that's it for this week's vlog, guys. I'm going to wrap up now, get home, get this film developed. Obviously you've already seen the Portra shots from earlier. Hope these come out well. Put these up in a second. Before I go, just like to say a massive thank you to everybody that supports the channel, be that via the Photographers Clubhouse or just commenting and liking and watching these videos. Your support is very, very much appreciated. So yes, thank you for watching once again. Take care, guys, and I will see you next week.